Case interview frameworks. We get this question all the time. How many frameworks do you need to know? How much can you rely on your frameworks? What should you do when you're thinking about case interview frameworks? Today, I just want to give you a couple of high-level primers on what makes a great case interview framework and some of the frameworks that we use at Management Consulted when we're teaching in large group settings at universities and one-on-one with our coaching clients. I'm Jenny Rae LaRue, the Managing Director of Management Consulted, and my engagement with case interview frameworks has changed a lot over the years. I came into my consulting prep process with some business background. I was an economics major and I had worked in business. But in reality, case frameworks are integrated strategic structures that are different than what you learn in the classrooms. I wasn't really up on the lingo that I needed to understand how to build a case framework that was in one part understandable to the interviewer, that they felt like I wasn't being too wild and too out of the box and I was messaging that I had prepared. And on the other side, that was creative and applicable to the problem at hand. So I'm going to walk you through here just our basic recommendations for how to make a great case framework out of some of the generic case frameworks. I'm going to start by laying out the 4 frameworks that we teach as a baseline. If you have no idea where to start, you need to know the 4 of these because this will give you a boundary, a playpen of sorts that you can engage with and that you won't look ridiculous with in front of the interviewer. And then I'll conclude the video with an ending where I talk about how to go beyond those case frameworks. First of all, the first framework that we recommend is market sizing. Every single person walking into every single interview needs to understand how to get a market sizing prompt, break down the structure for it, communicate your framework, and then work through the problem. And market sizing frameworks are pretty high level. They're 4 to 5 steps, and they're 2 different types, the top down and the bottom up approach. And we have a video on the market sizing framework that you can watch. And in the links to this video, you can go and check that out. So make sure that you look into the market sizing video. The sum of a market sizing video is a structured math problem that gives you a revenue per year that you're trying to calculate. So the first thing that you need to know is the market sizing framework, and you need to understand how to break it down into 4 or 5 steps. Market sizing, the level of creativity that you go into is segmentation. So the main rules or categories are almost always the same. The way that you segment is where you're creative. The second structure is a profitability structure, and profitability is the cornerstone structure that consultants use. It's used by management consultants, strategy consultants, technical consultants. Every kind of consultant thinks about the baseline of profitability and how their actions affect it as they're working through the business problem that they're solving. So you need to understand this. And the profitability equation, as consultants use it, is very straightforward. It's price times volume, 2 categories, minus variable cost, minus fixed cost. And the variable cost is the summed variable cost, which means it's variable cost times the volume of whatever you produce. So 4 categories: price, volume, variable cost, and fixed cost. And if you don't understand what falls into each of those categories and what influences them, again, we have a video on the profitability framework and you should go watch it, understand it, and begin to apply it in your case interviews. The third structure is a market study structure. Sometimes this is known as a marketing structure, 3 C's and a P. Other people talk about it as a business situation structure. We call it market study because it involves mostly a view on the outside of a market. And ours is a 5-part structure that you usually pick 3 to 4 categories from. The 5 categories are the market overall, the customers in the market, and the competitors in the market. Those 3 categories at the beginning of the structure give you a lay of the land. What's happening not just internally with your company, but more importantly, externally. What things are you missing if you only focus on what you do? Then you bring the insights internal and you look at the company and you look at the product or the service. So 4 is company, 5 is product or service. If you walk through all of these pieces of the structure, you have to be careful making sure that they are MECE, which we'll talk about again in another video that's linked inside the comments. That MECE structure means that there's no overlaps between them, but it's also comprehensive. So you're covering all of the main points. This structure is very popular because a lot of companies don't understand what they're missing out on until they look at peers or other players that are in the market. That's the market study structure. The fourth structure is the mergers and acquisitions structure, the M&A structure. And this one I love because it brings together all of the first three structures in a very clear way. And for this, we recommend that you use the size of the market and the market dynamics for the target company as bucket number one. Bucket number two is the company dynamics of the target company. Bucket number three is the post-acquisition strategy, what the buyer is going to do to create more profit out of the business. And the fourth is risks and benefits. And once again, we have another structure video that walks in more detail on these structures. So if you understand the basics of those four structures, market sizing, profitability, market study, and mergers and acquisitions, you're gonna have a great start, but you're not done yet with case frameworks. And we'll go into more detail in this in another video, but most importantly, you have to understand that especially for MBB firms, walking into the room and giving them the straight up vanilla profitability structure will not cut it. It will only make you not look embarrassed, but it's not going to get you the job. What gets you the job is to combine concepts across all four of those structures and even bring in practical concepts on your own from the outside. If you're able to do that, if you're able to walk through those four categories and mix and match them in a way that is MECE, so it's still clear, but it's also comprehensive, that's how you win at the case frameworks game. If you have questions about how to build a great case framework or how to utilize off-the-shelf case frameworks, we would love to help you. Come over and visit us at managementconsulted.com or on social.